आदाब दोस्तों, मैं सोहेल फारूक और आप मुझे YouTube पे देख रहे हैं। वीडियो शुरू करने से पहले घंटी का बटन दबा के मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा ताकि आपको आने वाली तमाम वीडियोस के बारे में बर वक्त इत्तला मिल सके। डिफरेंट टॉपिक है UFC 279, Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. The original fight was Nate Diaz versus Hamzat Chimaev. ये बड़ा अजीब सा एक इवेंट है। इस इवेंट में पिछले 24 घंटे के दौरान जो है वो अजीबोगरीब किस्म के वाकयात हुए हैं। पहले प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जो थी वो स्टॉप कर दी गई और प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस स्टाफ होने की जो मेन रीजन थी वो ये थी कि हमजद शमायव और केविन हॉलैंड के ग्रुप्स के बीच में बैक स्टेज पे फाइट शुरू हो गई, जिसकी वजह से उनको जो है वो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कैंसिल करना पड़ गई। और फिर इमीडिएटली आफ्टर दैट जब वेन हो रहा था तो हमजद शमायव लॉस्ट हिज फुटिंग और ही कुडंट डू हिज वेट। उसने अपना वेट जो है वो 7.5 पाउंड से मिस कर दिया, 7.5 पाउंड। He's heavier, 7.5 pounds. So 170 was the weight that 170 pound was the weight that he was supposed to have. 171 was the limit, but he's like 7.5 pound above 171. So that makes it 7.5 pound heavier. So they had to call off that fight. So I mean, Dana White, the CEO and the president of UFC, must be in a great deal of shit at this time. And he must be thinking that what's going on with all the hype and all the good things happening for UFC, especially during the last 2 years and during the COVID time. UFC was one sports company which actually has achieved great numbers, and they never gave up even during the COVID, and they kept doing their events, and they kept helping fighters earning money by arranging all the events with or without the spectators, and that's hats off to Dana White. But I believe I have all the sympathies for Dana White for first not having the press conference, which was a big upset, and then Hamza not making his weight. So now the current situation, the new card, how to deal with it. I mean, like the matchmakers are always working, so the new card is going to be something like this. You see UFC 279. Now Nate Diaz is going to fight against Tony Ferguson. Hamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz was a big fight, 5-round fight, and everybody wanted to see that fight because everybody believed that it was a big fight. Since Nate Diaz was having the last fight with the of his career, I mean, like his contract with UFC, and Hamzat Chimaev calling himself the bad motherfucker. But on the other hand, the winner of the belt is Nate Diaz. So anyway, it was a big fight, and people thought that they have actually UFC have thrown Hamza to lions. Nate Diaz to lion, and they wanted him to lose. But I mean, Nate Diaz, has a heart of a lion, and he is nobody has such endurance as Nate Diaz. Maybe Tony has that kind of endurance too, because I saw him fighting against Charles Oliveira and Dariush, and at both the times when he was in that arm bars, he never gave up. And I believe the one fight that he was having against Charles Oliveira, he fought with a dislocated shoulder. So Tony has a heart of a lion too, but Nate Diaz is one hell of a great fighter, and he has a lot of endurance, incomparable to anyone in UFC, I believe. Hamzat, on the other hand, is an 11-fight win streak, and he is considered to be the next thing. So people were anticipating to see that fight, and everybody looked forward to having that great fight tonight. But somehow, since he lost weight, and incidentally, you see that the brawl or the row backstage happened between Hamzat Chimaev and Kevin Holland, and they were fighting against different classes and against different opponents, but somehow since Hamzat has lost his ability to make up his weight, so he couldn't make the weight, so they put him against Kevin Holland now. So Kevin Holland and Hamzat Chimaev have been given the opportunity to settle the score against each other, which they were trying to settle behind the scenes at backstage. But they put a fight, Tony Ferguson against Nate Diaz. Tony and Nate Diaz fight, as everybody wanted to see that fight. It was a long anticipated fight, but somehow the matchmakers could never put that fight on the cards. But incidentally, they were like in such weight classes that The adjustment was easy for UFC matchmakers to make. And so what they did is that they put Tony against Nate Diaz. Tony is one of the best fighters I have ever seen during the last 5-6 years. And when he was preparing for fight against Khabib, and he was the interim champion at that time, I thought that he was one guy who could really beat Khabib. But then that fight never happened. Khabib fell sick. He got COVID, and they put him against a striker, Justin Gaethje. And Justin Gaethje broke him very badly. And I think after losing to Justin Gaethje, Tony never made it. He then lost to Charles Oliveira, Dariush, and then recent fight, he was stopped actually by Michael Chandler. The fight against Michael Chandler, Tony was awesome in the first round, and he hurt Chandler, and Chandler was in very bad shape. But that one kick, that's this fucking sports, that's a bad sport. So that one kick, you just turned light off for Tony Ferguson, and the same thing happened to Kamaru Usman in the last fight. But Tony still has the potential and the talent and the heart to be a great star, and I think he still has the potential to win and even earn the fight to be a champion. But if he loses tonight, then Tony, I think it's curtains for Tony too. I've seen fighters not coming up and not making their mark after losing. So like that's the one thing I never had liked Muhammad Ali, the boxer. But the one thing I liked about him was he always came back after losing. And he always came back and became the champion again and again and again. So losing is not a problem. It's coming back and winning and making your mark is more important in any walk of life, be it sports or be it corporate business or be it personal matters in our life. In every walk of life, coming back and winning again after losing or standing up after falling, that is more important. So Tony has the opportunity, and I think Tony's fight against Nate Diaz has actually it's given the opportunity for Tony to shine tonight. But Nate Diaz, we all know, is a guy. He's a lion heart. He has. I've not seen anybody having that kind of endurance. But then, I think it's his last fight at UFC, so they wanted to give him a big fight, big farewell fight. So it just gives him a good opportunity to leave as a great fighter. It's a 5-round fight, and I believe that Tony and Nate Diaz both have great cardio. They both can survive 5 rounds. And the Kevin Holland versus Khamzat Chimaev, the co-main event, will also be 5-round fight. So both these fighters, all 4 of them are having 5 rounds fight, which is going to be a test for their endurance and their stamina. But Tony, I think this is more important. People are talking Tony White is more important because Tony has lost 4 of his last fights. And one more thing is I've seen Jose Aldo losing his last fight, and Jose, after losing to Conor McGregor, never ever had been able to make a comeback. Then there are other fighters too, like Dustin Poirier is struggling, and Jose Aldo is struggling after losing. And then there was another one. T-City, he's also struggling. So let's see how it turns out to be. People are talking a lot about Khamzat Chimaev not being able to make his weight, and they are actually scolding him and telling things like the real gangsters do make weight. But Dana White, CEO, the president of the UFC, he gave an interview, and in that interview he said that he was locking up since he started losing weight, and he started locking up. He started having cramps, and he started throwing up, and the doctors decided that he should not be trying to lose any weight. So they stopped him on medical grounds. But still, I believe that Khamzat has the opportunity to lose weight. He came so heavy, I believe. He came at least 10 to 12 pounds heavier than the required weight, and then he tried to do it too much. But anyway, that's an opportunity for Khamzat to settle scores with Kevin Holland. And Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson is a great card. I believe both fighters have the opportunity to entertain the crowd and the spectators. And जो पैसे हमने पेपर व्यू पे लगाए हैं वो मेरी तो ख्वाहिश है कि 5 राउंड की फाइट हो and ये ना हो कि पहले राउंड में ही फैसला होता है. But then we have nice fights coming up too, and the biggest fight that I look forward to seeing is Charles Oliver versus Islam Makhachev, which is happening in Dubai, and I'll talk about it. But somehow I don't know how people would think about it that I'm talking about UFC and mixed martial art fights. But trust me, these are the hobbies that I have over the years, and these are the hobbies that have kept me so young and so good looking. Really, okay, I've started praising myself, but I mean, I'm into too many things, and reading books, watching movies, playing sports, going to gym, and then of course making videos which nobody sees. All right, anyway, let's wish good luck to all the fighters tonight, and I pray that nobody gets hurt too badly in the fights, and let's see how it ends. The 279 so far had been a roller coaster for Dana White and for UFC. I hope it ends well for all of us. Thank you very much. Good night.